Hey guys, welcome to SmackDown Wrestling Reviews. I am your host Boise and this is SmackDown Live Review. So what do we get this week? We have again R-Truth's US Open Challenge, which is always exciting. We get an exciting tag team match and we also get Charlotte Flair inviting Becky Lynch to the ring. This and so much more, guys. So let's get on with it. Let's hit the music. So we started off the show with Bryan and his intellectual partner Rollin, or as we all know, the Muscle. He's hired to protect him, and they were cutting a typical Bryan heel promo, same kind of, slurries that we've been getting from Bryan, particularly towards Kevin Owens. Stating that Kevin Owens is like everyone else in the WWE universe, fat, lazy, and just don't care about anything they, take into the body. And, Kevin Owens did come out, they cut a quick promo between the two of them. It was very much like an homage to Stone Cold Steve Austin. You had Rollin there trying to get between Kevin Owens and Bryan. Kevin Owens really, we got a problem, big man. Just takes Rollins out, about to hit the stun on Bryan. Bryan gets out of it, thankfully, because Rollin was there, and he prevents Kevin Owens. They get a beat down on Kevin Owens, and that ends the segment, leading up to a match later on in the show. I thought this really didn't add much to the drama going into FastLane, but it is a good way to segue and see how this match could possibly go if Rollin does get involved in FastLane. So, for me, it's a decent start. Kevin Owens is always good on the mic. Bryan's very good on the mic as a heel. And, I haven't seen Kevin Owens versus Rollin for a very long time. So it's a matchup I haven't seen for a while. So, for me, I'm going to give this a 2.5 star. It's nothing too particularly special, but it's doing the job it needs to do to get on with the show. Next, we had a singles match between Jey Uso versus The Miz. Again, this wasn't a particularly brilliant match, but it did for me have some good parts. Jey Uso is a brilliant in-ring competitor. The Miz was really good in this match as well. It's just, again, it's that typical, we're having a tag team title match coming this pay-per-view, have two members of each tag team to take each other on, and yeah, The Miz did get the victory. That was because Shane O'Mac took out Jimmy Uso on the side. Jey got distracted. The Miz used that to use a skull-crushing finale. And The Miz and Shane O'Mac celebrated like they just won the titles. But yes, I think this is a kind of sign that, let's be honest, The Miz and Shane O'Mac are most likely not going to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles back off the Usos. Hopefully not. But I do like The Miz being slight babyface. I still enjoy that. I don't know how it's going to go. Let's be honest, we all possibly know it's going to be The Miz turns on Shane O'Mac at FastLane, leading to their WrestleMania match. But that's all fine, and I can't wait to see how that goes down on Sunday. But yes, for me, there was one bit which really made me chuckle, which did actually enjoy, and it was when the Usos were talking smack towards The Miz and Shane O'Mac, where they go, there's nothing Shane has on us, and they were talking about even Shane's shoe game isn't even higher, and they were like, then you saw Jimmy go, actually, yeah, it's actually better than ours. It's actually a lot better because he's got some right shoes. I was like, and that made me chuckle because I like it. The Usos can go from a really serious promo, really well disrespecting their opponents, to actually, yeah, his shoe game is good. And that just makes me laugh. I like that it goes from serious to comedy and back to serious. And the audience, honest to God, love how good the Usos are. So for me, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 star. It's a basic match, but it's getting towards the the FastLane pay-per-view. So it's doing exactly, again, like the Kevin Owens and Bryan opening segment. It's doing its job perfectly well. Still, we had R-Truth's US Open Challenge. Yes, just like his idol, John Cena, R-Truth continues the US Open Challenge this week, and this was a much better match than what we got last week, and I thought last week's match was really good. This time round we got a fatal 4-way match between R-Truth, Samoa Joe, Andrade and Rey Mysterio. Again, a really good amount of wrestlers high up on the card who you do go, wow, yeah, I could believe all 4 people could hold this title at any point and it wouldn't feel like a downgrade. And it's refreshing, let's be honest. We've seen how the US title was being kind of written on SmackDown for some time, when Shinsuke Nakamura rarely came onto TV. He barely defended it unless it, for some strange reason the writers put him on, and they finally put a title defense, and it was just really crap. But the R-Truth, even though it's only been 3 weeks, about 3 weeks, him being the US champion, he's actually made the title quite exciting. And that's a compliment to the writing team. They've actually made the US title feel a little bit more prestigious again, just with a 3 weeks worth of work on R-Truth. So yes, that is my compliment to R-Truth. I was a bit concerned when R-Truth had the title, but I liked that it was always handicap matches where R-Truth was defending the title. It was unique and it was different, and yes, it's a good way to protect R-Truth on him losing the title. You don't really need to protect R-Truth, but it does, and it is an exciting match. All 4 competitors were brilliant. Andrade and Rey Mysterio's rivalry still going on, even through a US title match, was brilliant. It's a fatal 4-way match, but these two are still having their own private. There's parts in the match where Andrade had opportunities to pin either Samoa Joe or R-Truth, but he constantly kept on going back to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, again, the veteran, was getting annoyed with R-Truth trying to pin him when there was Andrade as well. So it was kind of like, ooh, this is great, I love this. And let's be honest, I even had to tweet out that Samoa Joe is a scarily dangerous man, and this match just shows how great he is. His rage was the best part of the whole match. It was unpredictable. Yes, he didn't completely dominate the match, which you don't always need to see with Samoa Joe. Yes, he dominated a majority of it, but when he wasn't and he was doing the selling, it was really fun and it was really good. And that's the best bit. This match was fantastic. It hit all the right notes. Yes, there were commercial breaks, and I understand it gets really frustrating, but luckily enough for me, the feed I had didn't actually have commercial breaks because someone had edited them out, and it allowed me to watch the full match without any breaks. Yes, it did feel like there was some bits missing, but that's fine. I didn't mind that. But that actual match was bloody brilliant. It looked like Rey Mysterio was going to go for it. Zelina Vega took out R-Truth, which, again, if he's not in the ring, he can't do anything, and because it's a fatal 4-way, there's no DQ. It looked like Rey was going to get and pinning Andrade, but Samoa Joe coming out of nowhere, taking out both Rey and Andrade, getting the pinfall on Andrade. Interesting choice on Andrade. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but fine, that's fine. And claiming his first main roster title since his call up from NXT. Yes, I'm finally happy with Samoa Joe's gone. The crowd was even happy. It doesn't matter if Samoa Joe is a heel or face. The crowd just loves Samoa Joe. They want to see him take titles and be that dominant force, which we've seen him do at Ring of Honor, TNA. He is a dominant wrestler, and finally getting the US title, I can't wait to see what that brings at WrestleMania. Can we please get another Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania? Please? That will be bloody brilliant. So what am I going to give this? Well, like I said, it was a bloody brilliant match, and I've talked about it for nearly 5 whole minutes, so I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 stars. Brilliant. Next up, we had a very decent tag team match where we saw the team of Ricochet and Aleister Black taking on The Bar. Now, we've seen this match before, and it was a good match. And again, it was a good match. Both teams really going out. Again, the problem with these type of matches, when it is on TV, the pace kind of slows down a lot more. When on pay-per-views, you don't have to worry about breaks or anything like that. You can have as much, you know, you have a set amount of time, and I honestly think every time I watch these two teams take each other on, I'm like, just give them 15, 20 minutes. Let them just rip it out, because they can have hard hitting, high flying moves and just show the world what WWE can do with proper tag team wrestling. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see Aleister Black and Ricochet constantly being in tag teams, because that's what we've been seeing for the last few weeks, with both on Raw and SmackDown, and with Ricochet and Aleister Black now being entered into the Raw tag team title match at FastLane. It's kind of like, that's fine, but I don't want to always see him in a tag team match, because I know Aleister Black and Ricochet are fantastic singles competitors, and that's what you want to see. But yes, the match had a good amount of pace for me. It was hard hitting. Just the only downside to the whole match was the time. It should have had, for me, another 5 minutes. But it did what it needed to do. Again, I keep saying it did what it needs to do, but it was still entertaining as hell. The Bar did lose, and that's fine. They are working. It's nice to see that a team who was so dominant for a while starting to let other people actually get themselves over on them, and that's fine. That's a big win for Aleister Black and Ricochet. It feels like a bigger victory pinning the Bar than it does the Revival. The Revival honestly don't feel like a big deal, but when you pin the Bar, it feels like a big deal in my opinion right now. And then after that, when Aleister Black and Ricochet were celebrating, they were attacked by Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, and both Sheamus and Cesaro getting into a big brawl, just beating up these two NXT superstars. And then the Hardy Boys came out of nowhere. They came to the save. They helped these young baby faces, and it literally lines up for a match next week on SmackDown Live, where we'll see an incredible, hopefully they make this official, a 8-man tag team match where we see the Hardys teaming up with Aleister Black and Ricochet taking on Rusev, Shinsuke and the Bar on SmackDown. That will be a hell of a match. Just give them 20 minutes, and that will be your, just make it the main event. That will be a brilliant main event in my opinion. So what am I going to score the match itself? Well, I enjoyed the beatdown with the Hardys coming out to save. Like I said, the match itself between these two teams was really entertaining. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 stars. Now we had Mandy Rose versus Naomi in a singles match, and just like I said yesterday in the Raw review, what's the point of having a match if it's only going to be less than 3 minutes? And guess what? The entrances were actually longer than the bloody match. So I'm going to give this a 1.5 star. That's right, Mandy Rose did win. It was an abs. Naomi, she started off well. She got distracted in like 2 seconds by Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose took advantage. She got the pinfall, and now she's going off to FastLane to take on Asuka. But Asuka's beatdown afterwards was quite entertaining. Asuka came out of nowhere. Well, she came behind both Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. She took out Sonya Deville, the muscle, and then she completely and utterly beat the crap out of Mandy Rose. But like I said, the match was really, really short. There was nothing really, and the beatdown was fine. It's just, it makes no impact when you haven't seen Asuka or Mandy Rose on TV for some time. So for me, again, like I said, it's getting a 1.5 star, because I want women's wrestling to actually have time to tell stories, and yet the only story we're actually getting on both Raw and SmackDown is the Raw women's title match. Fantastic. So yes, 1.5 star. This moved us on to the match which was set up at the start of the show, Kevin Owens versus Rollin, and this again wasn't a long match. There was not a lot into it. Rollin was quite dominant from the start. Kevin Owens tried to use a few moves, but really could not damage Rollin. They are building him up to be a very dangerous protection for Daniel Bryan. Kevin Owens rolls out of the ring. Daniel Bryan is verbally attacking Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has enough. He attacks Daniel Bryan. Rollin gets back and saves Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan and him get a beat down on Kevin Owens, and the crowd are just going mental. They're chanting for Sami Zayn. I'm kind of chanting for Sami Zayn at this point, but no, we don't get Sami Zayn. We get Mustafa Ali, which again, a good return. He's been away injured for a few weeks. him coming back and helping Kevin Owens, which again is a bit of a surprise. But he comes out, he helps Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens managed to hit the stunner again on Daniel Bryan, which again for me looks cool. I like that could be Kevin Owens' new finisher. And, let's be honest, this is great to see Mustafa Ali back. It's a great rub for Kevin Owens because Mustafa Ali is a pure babyface and everyone loves Mustafa. So him helping Kevin Owens makes Kevin Owens feel more and more like a babyface, especially when he's turning from heel to face. Don't forget, we all like Kevin Owens, but he's always been a heel since he's signed with WWE. So him transitioning to a babyface is interesting. I like the way they're going for it. Yes, this is definitely, screaming Rollin's going to get involved in the match at FastLane, and that's fine. I don't mind that as long as it protects Kevin Owens for the future. But yes, very, very much excited. But it was a good little... The match itself, again, did what it needed to do, but the Mustafa Ali save was fantastic and a good little surprise. So I actually popped a little bit. So what am I going to score this? Well, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, mainly because of Mustafa's return and Kevin Owens using the stunner again. I really like to see the stunner being used more often. Last but not least, it's the Charlotte's invitation to Becky Lynch to discuss their FastLane match against each other. And yeah, it was a setup. Charlotte comes out, she cuts a bit of a Charlotte heel promo, she does the Becky in the crowd, start chanting Becky Lynch comes out, they discuss some words. Becky's like, well, I'm already limping, I'm already broken, I've got nothing else left to lose. And Charlotte uses that as, well, I've got nothing left to lose, I'm going to beat the crap out of it. And she does, she attacks Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch manages to reverse that on her, and she puts Charlotte in the disarmer. I've got to agree with a lot of people on this bit now. I felt that they didn't need this segment. They could have just not have Charlotte and Becky Lynch on SmackDown Live this week. Everything's built up quite well on Raw for their match at FastLane. It just felt like, we've got 6 minutes, and again, that 6 minutes could have been used for, Asuka and Mandy Rose, the other women championship match, which is coming along as well, the SmackDown title. But no, they used it for Charlotte and Becky, and it just really didn't add anything to it. It actually felt like it damaged it a bit. The crowd looked shattered by this point. I think they were just like, wow, we're excited to see Becky, but we've seen everything we need to see through Monday Night Raw. Do we really need this segment? And I completely agree. So, like I said, it really didn't add much to it, and I think I'm going to just give it a 2 out of 5. Mainly because Becky's a great babyface, Charlotte's a great heel, but again, too much of a good thing can give you an upset stomach, just like chocolate. So yeah, 2 out of 5. Not really much into the final part of the show. And there you go, guys, that was SmackDown Live for this week. What did I think? Well, I thought the matches, which were the main matches, were quite good. I think the Jey Uso versus The Miz match was fine. I thought the US Open Challenge match was perfect. It's a great TV match. I think the tag team match against The Bar was really good, and then the Hardys coming out to save was fantastic. Kevin Owens match didn't really get started, but Mustafa Ali's save was really well put together. I like that. It gives Kevin Owens that rub from a legitimate babyface, in my opinion. Naomi versus Mandy Rose, nothing there. Again, we've seen those two fight each other. The chemistry's never been there, in my opinion. And it was a 3-minute match. Again, I don't enjoy 3-minute matches. And Daniel Bryan was just brilliant. And yeah, so what am I going to score SmackDown Live for this week? I'd feel bad to score SmackDown higher than Raw, because yes, the matches were better on SmackDown. Again, it just feels like the matches are always better on SmackDown right now. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, so it is gonna score higher, but that's only because the US title match was fantastic. But what was your guys' favourite part of SmackDown Live this week? Leave it in the comments below. If you do like our videos, please remember to like, subscribe and press that bell to keep notified. If you want to follow us on the old Twitter, it's at SmackTalkYouTube. That's a U and a tube. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitter, it's at Boise88. And I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.